This case was brought to court by the parents of Neil Ronker, a then 9-year-old boy with moderate mental retardation. The parents and school district both believed that Neil needed services provided by special education. Where they did not see eye to eye was the setting. The parents wanted their son to be around his peers more often. To accomplish this, they wanted Neil to receive the services in a classroom where he could interact with his classmates who did not have disabilities. The school district won the case. Their evidence showed that he was improving. The Ronker probability test was created. In a case where the segregated facility is considered superior, the court should determine whether the services which make the placement superior could feasibly be provided in a non-segregated setting. If they can, the placement in a segregated school would be inappropriate under the Act. The concept of this test is still applied today. The best or first choice for placement should be in a general education classroom. If the student can receive services in this setting and progress, they should be placed there over a segregated classroom. This case involved a male elementary student with severe cognitive issues. His parents wished to have him attend his local school, but instead, he was going to a state school for students with disabilities. The Ronker test helped the court decide that the student was currently in the most appropriate setting. Children today do not always attend their neighborhood schools. A district may only have one life skills classroom amongst 3 middle schools. A student who requires life skills may have to go to a middle school different than students in their neighborhood. Daniel was a pre-K aged boy with Down syndrome who split his time between a general classroom and a special education classroom. His parents went to court because their son was moved to an all-day special education classroom because he was not progressing and needed constant attention. They wanted him to have more time with his non-disabled peers in addition to lunch and recess. The court applied what is now known as the Daniel test by asking 2 questions. 1. Can a student receive an appropriate education in a general classroom with the help of services and aids? And 2. Is the student with their non-disabled peers as much as is appropriate? Daniel was receiving services in the general classroom, but he still was not progressing and was taking up much of the teacher's time, which affected the other students. Today, students are in similar situations. There are students who are contained for most of their day, except for special areas, gym, and lunch. Michael, a high school student with autism, was supposed to attend a county vocational center per his IEP team. The parents wanted him to attend his local high school instead of the vocational school, which was far away. It was determined that Michael was one of the students who could not receive an appropriate education at his home school, even with the use of services. The Ronker and Daniel tests were considered, and a new test was developed. Mainstreaming is not required when a student with a disability would not receive educational benefits from mainstreaming in a general education class. Any marginal benefit from mainstreaming would be significantly outweighed by benefits that could feasibly be obtained only in a separate instructional setting. And 3, the student is a disruptive force in the general education classroom. Today, students are placed in the least restrictive environment where they will receive the most benefits and not hinder the education of their classmates. Like Ryan, Mark also had autism, but unlike Ryan, Mark was placed in a general education classroom. Mark was provided with many accommodations, including a one-on-one paraprofessional, speech therapy, and time with a special education teacher. Unfortunately, even with the accommodations, he was not progressing academically or socially. The IEP team decided to relocate Mark to a special education classroom specifically for children with autism. The parents took the school to court. Because of his disruptive behavior, the school district won out. Even today, the safety and education of other students must be considered, as well as providing the student with the most benefits. Rachel, who was 11 at the time of this case, had moderate mental retardation. Rachel's parents wanted her to be in a general education classroom. The district did not believe that Rachel would make any progress in that general education classroom. Parents decided to have Rachel attend a private school instead. When going to court, four parts were examined. 1. The educational benefits of the general education classroom with supplementary aids and services as compared with the educational benefits of the special classrooms. 2. The non academic benefits of interaction with students without disabilities. 3. The effect of the student's presence on the teacher and on other students in the classroom. And 4. The cost of mainstreaming. The court found that the district lacked evidence showing the benefits between the special and general classroom. Rachel was growing in her social skills and was not disruptive to the other students. Because of this, the court ruled in favor of Rachel. Today, special education teachers have to prove that they know through evidence. Documentation is key. Brian was placed in a general education classroom, but due to his ADHD, was provided with services. He was suspended because of his behavior, which included crude comments towards girls and disruptive behavior. After observing his behavior in the classroom, it was decided that he would attend the students temporarily away from regular school's program, otherwise known as STARS. The court used the Rachel test. The other students were affected by him being in the classroom. He was given services and accommodations and was still struggling. Because of these factors, the court ruled in favor of the school district's placement.